What's cool now, but probably won't be in 5 years? Current plastic surgery trends to meet the current IG standards. I fear for a lot of people who have had BBLs and facial surgery that the look will become outdated and permanently associated with late 2010s and early 2020s. Kind of how like there are plastic surgery trends associated with the 90s and 2000s. Hopefully the stupid hacks that people are coming up with. That's not a hack. Shut the F up. A lot of the stuff I see people doing on TikTok seems like the kind of thing you'd be embarrassed about in a few years. Honestly, I'm embarrassed about pretty much everything I did at that age. GTA 5. Hopefully by that point we'll have GTA 6. Did you say another GTA Online DLC? Probably most popular YouTubers as of now. I thought Ray William Johnson and Smosh would rule for the next 10 years in 2011. You might be right. Smosh. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Hopefully Facebook. I never thought it would kill MySpace, and MySpace reminds me of better times when I think of how bad Facebook handled the last 4 years. Teenage boys getting the perm undercut combo. Broccoli boy cut. Having the COVID vaccine. Eventually, it'll be as commonplace as a flu vaccine. Hopefully Pokemon cards, so I can finally afford to buy them again. People posting pictures of a PS5 they just bought and expecting the rest of us to care. Probably not going to happen, but I really wish influencers won't be cool anymore. It is just how we brand the famous. The Kardashian family were still influencers before the word. Remember Paris Hilton having her own thing? That was well before we even thought to define influencer culture. It just is rough now because it seems slightly attainable by the average Joe. Zoom calls. I don't want to go back to the office, but I can't take 5 more years of these. Corporations trying to be weird and relatable on Twitter. I wish it would die out now. Twitter, where people try to be brands and brands try to be people. Among Us, it already is almost dead. The creators of the game are set for life though, financially. Clothing of any kind. Reject humanity, return to monkey. If you are wondering why I didn't say clothes, it's because I can't say clothes! Instagram is going to be an online shopping mall. Far removed from the cool microblogging site it used to be. It's kinda crazy how obvious it is. Like, I try to go on Instagram and within 5 posts, it's already all ads. Galaxy print is probably going to go the way of the bowling alley carpet patterns we used to wear on our clothes in the 90s. It'll come back ironically in 10 years. Daenerys? What? Daenerys and Khaleesi as girl names. Fake Vincent cars, if they were cool in the first place. Story time. I was eating a Taco Bell burrito supreme in my car, you know, because the lobby was closed, and one bit in sour cream shot all up in my Honda out of the bottom of my burrito deliciousness. Burrito delicious. Burrito deliciousness. I give up, bro. It's the word that's there. It hit the wheel where there was a fake vent opening, impossible to clean out. Now my Honda is sour cream inclusive. The bowl cut. For some reason it came back in South Houston. Looks ridiculous. Lip injections and butt implants. They look cartoonish. Subscribing to multiple streaming platforms. Isn't that why cable doesn't exist anymore? I've always said this is what's gonna happen. Streaming will continue becoming more and more massive until they start buying each other out, leaving us with one, the next cable. But it's through the internet instead of cable. The beer in my fridge. I read that drinking a beer shortens your lifespan by 9 minutes. According to my calculations, I died sometime in 1829. 5-day work week. That's never been cool. We just accept it. Men with hair buns. Hopefully. GameStop stock. Pennies. Everybody loves those 1-cent pieces of metal. Probably won't exist soon. Antarctica. Exploring Mars with robots instead of colonists. Bluetooth. Hardcore feminism. As long as places in the world keep treating women as lesser than men, then people will keep fighting for their rights. Which is a good thing. Well, there's a distinction between the hardcore feminism we see today, which is basically female supremacy that seeks to devalue the family structure and eliminate a man's purpose in life, and then there's the kind of feminism I can get behind, which is really just equality. It acknowledges that there are differences between men and women, but that those differences are beautiful and don't mean one is superior to the other. It believes that women should have the same rights, but that they have their roles in the family. It's extremism versus egalitarianism. Driving SUVs in the city. Hopefully just driving SUVs. SUVs will die in a few years. Just like it happened with all the trendy cars. They'll live the same as FE station wagons did. Trendy for a few years, then the popularity starts decreasing. Then they just die out and everyone forgets about them and move on to another type of car. Being a woke, brainwashed moron. Hopefully bio pronouns. Yeah, it's like Sarah. I was obviously going to say her when referring to you. You don't need it in your signature block every time. Cancel culture. I don't see this happening. People love virtual signaling too much. It's addicting for many. Half the fashion trends going on right now. I just see all these celebrities with super long nails, giant sunglasses, and outfits with really weird patterns, fabrics, and cutouts. And I know that one day we will look back on them and say, how did anyone ever think that looked good? And then those trends will be back in style in 2040. Mark my words. We'll look back on the 2000s and say, wow, low-rise jeans? Gross. But they're on their way back into style. Just you wait. Rule of 20. Soon, everyone will have their thongs peeking out of their pants again, I promise you. In a weird way, I'm looking forward for the late 2000s, early 2010s pop culture to be brought back by the kids. It would be very amusing to see those swag glasses and Cookie Monster hats and scene kid haircuts be iconized like 80s and 90s fashion has been. Mental illness. At school, people think having depression or anxiety is cool and aesthetic. They also move my stuff, pens, and then say they have OCD. They have absolutely no knowledge of what these words even mean. It's very strange. Side note, someone pointed out it's self-diagnosis, by the way. We aren't really educated about these stuff at school, so I'm not really sure where to put it in the sentence. Bitcoin. There's a part of me that thinks this post will not age well, but hear me out. At some point, people will really understand what Bitcoin is and why it's valuable. At that point, people will understand why it's massively overvalued, especially when considering the cost in terms of physical resources, not just computer hardware, hard drive space, memory, processing cycles, and electricity in the world, but the opportunity cost of all the altcoin and AI that those cycles could provide. Add that to the fact that there are plenty of other cryptocurrencies that essentially provide the same value proposition, non-counterfeitability and public ledger, widespread adoption, etc. It's only a matter of time before holders and speculators realize that they can make a lot more money by diversifying into other crypto, as they will start to see the limit of Bitcoin and potential appreciation of other crypto. Don't get me wrong, I think Bitcoin will be worth something for a while, but there has to be an upper limit, especially as new technologies are emerging all the time that could potentially make Bitcoin's blockchain obsolete, and I don't see how holders won't see these limits, as well as the other opportunities pretty clear over the next 5 years. I saw 50k coming. I thought it could get up to 100k. In fact, I thought it could potentially get to 1 million. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but we're already starting to see the limits now. And why would you want 1 Bitcoin for 1 million worth of computer power when you can have 1 million units for next to nothing of a technology that is better, cheaper, and faster than Bitcoin, or at least does essentially the same job for much less resource consumption?